Hello, hello. Welcome to the Mystic Path. This is going to be your September energy update. I've already got some crystal cards out here that are going to be good crystals for gridding your bed. We've got which I pulled from this deck. Okay, the Illustrated Crystallary Oracle cards. Very colorful deck. We also have the Whisper of Healing cards out, which I love, Angela Hartfield. And then the Metatron, Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle by Amanda Ellis, which I also love. So, if needed, I will be clarifying from the Delos Tarot. Delos Tarot, the light. There we go. If clarification is needed, but I am not anticipating that. I've got lots of notes here and lots of information has already come in over the last week. Okay. So a lot is going on in the collective right now. A lot of you are probably feeling it. I know I'm feeling it. Big time. Big time. I woke up this morning and my crown chakra and my third eye both were just buzzing. And I had a massive headache. And I feel like I didn't actually realize this. Queen Elizabeth died yesterday, which I knew. And all evening after hearing that, I had this mild headache. And then this morning, I was watching Amanda Ellis, who we like. If you haven't checked her out, check her out. She has a YouTube channel. She's also on social media. Angelic Colors UK is her website, I believe. So just Google that and she should come up. She lives in England, in the UK, and she did a quick video this morning just on, obviously, the Queen dying, and now everybody's grieving. And she said, since the Queen died, I've had a headache and all this buzzing in my crown chakra. And she goes, and I feel like it's because she was such a big energy in the crown area, right, as a queen, that chakra energy is being riled up by her exit. Okay, and so maybe that's also why I have a mild headache. But I also think it has a little bit to do with all of this. I've been really busy at work over the last week, and so at the beginning of the week, I kind of said out loud, I'm really busy. I have a lot of work that needs to be done. I need to be productive. And then Friday, I will film videos. And so that was kind of like my tentative plan, right? Well, between then and now, messages have just been flooding in from everywhere. In my dreams, when I'm awake, when I'm working, when I'm talking to people, all of it, animals, all of it. Because they were funneling all the messages in for me to be prepared for today, to be filming. So I think I've had a lot of activity going on in my crown and third eye chakra on top of it. And then the Queen died yesterday afternoon. So, well, in the States here, it was yesterday afternoon, right? And so I just think we got a lot of activity going on. Lots of energies transitioning, right? Which is interesting that one of our crystals, black tourmaline, is about transmutation, right? Which is basically taking those energies like grief, death, loss, whatever the energies are, depression, anxiety, and transmuting them and changing the energy through alchemy to, transmute them and heal them so that we can grow and move forward and not just be stuck in grief or loss or anxiety or depression or whatever it is, addiction, whatever it is we're stuck in. So, good. Anyway, so just giving you a little, sorry, it's taken me a little bit to get into the swing of things. I also went today, in case you see the bandages, I got 2. It's no big deal. I go donate platelets because it's helpful for cancer patients, etc. And I've been getting some emails that the hospital nearest to me is in a platelet shortage. So I worked that in today as well, because that also always makes me feel better when I give, when I be of service. It kind of takes me out of my own problems, right? My own feelings. And then it makes me feel good because I've done something for somebody else. Oh, and interesting, we're talking about the queen passing, and I just realized on this lapis lazuli card, look at that. We have a crown and a specter. Interesting, right? Can't make this stuff up. Weird, not weird. Okay, so let's just start off. Okay. So we just moved from Leo season, last new moon, right? We moved from Leo season to Virgo season. Now, tomorrow, we have a full moon in Pisces coming up. There will be a second video about that. After this, it'll probably be very short because this will be the one with all the meat and potatoes for the whole month. But not only today, Mercury moved into retrograde, which will last for the next several weeks. I think until like early October, first week of October. So 3.5, 4 weeks, something like that. What does it mean? Somebody was just asking me the other day, what does it mean when Mercury's in retrograde? So we'll talk about that here for a second. Mercury retrograde is an optical illusion, okay, which means it looks like it's moving backwards from our view here on Earth. It's not actually moving backwards, but it's just the way the planets are moving and rotating creates the optical illusion from Earth that Mercury is moving backwards. Many people, you'll probably hear Mercury retrograde has a very negative connotation. Many people are like, oh, Mercury retrograde, everything's going to be awful. But, I kind of subscribe to the school, and my guides have always told me is that it's only going to be as bad as you expect it to be. So if you go into it with the energy of like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde, everything's going to be horrible, then everything is going to be horrible. Because as we've talked about before on this channel, your brain is constantly working to validate your thoughts. So if you think everything's horrible, then your brain is only going to draw attention to things in your life happening that fall into that horrible category. Okay? So I always, when we have a Mercury retrograde, I kind of say out loud, like, it's not going to be bad for me. There's going to be minor annoyances probably, but that's all, right? Because I like to kind of set myself up not expecting the worst, because expecting the worst is like one of my things and one of the things I have to work real hard on. So I've been trying to shift that, and over the last probably 5 years or so, I've been pretty successful at like shifting that belief, right? The only thing that really limits us in life. Oh, and here comes the mystic cat. Okay, don't rub on the, no. Don't rub on the camera, please. Thank you. Yep, just lay down here with us. Here, let mommy move her paper and her notes. Okay, come here, over here, right here. I just cleared a whole big spot for you. How does that feel? Yeah, good. Right there, you got the whole spot. And then you can lay here with us. And let's see, mommy will see if I can switch the camera just a little bit. There we go. Here, bub. Come here. Come on, back over here. Come here. Okay. No, sorry, everyone. Sorry, he can't decide where he wants to go. It's also raining, and there's a window behind me. Now lay down, Bubba, or you're going to have to get down because we're doing a video. I know you love to participate and bring in messages. There we go. Okay, right here. Stay right here. Lay down right here. There. Yes, good boy. Yes, here, we'll move these around a little bit. Always a fun day here at the Mystic Path, isn't it, bub? Watson, our cute little, I don't know if you can see, his collar has a little angel halo with wings. Because he's not, but he is, aren't you, Bubba? Okay, so back to what we were saying. The only thing that limits us in our life is our beliefs, right? If we have a belief and we can't move past that belief, then like that limits us, right? So I've been working hard over the last 5 years to kind of shift some of my limiting beliefs. And one of those, I was one of those people that whenever Mercury retrograde came around, I was always like, oh, awful, awful, Mercury retrograde, right? But then I realized, like, really, I was making it worse on myself. I was making it harder on myself because of my thought process and my state of mind, right? So I have worked really hard. We have reprogrammed that Mercury retrograde is only as bad as you expect it to be, right? And we never expect it to be bad because we do our work regularly and go to therapy and we work on our emotional body and our spiritual body. So I don't expect this Mercury retrograde period to be stressful or awful. I just expect that there may be some bumps in the road. Okay, so basically, Mercury is the planet of communication. So during Mercury retrograde, lots of people will notice that like technology doesn't really work right, and it gets a little disrupted. Communication gets disrupted. This is a time where, just like little annoyances, like your car breaks down, your computer breaks down, your printer stops working, you can't find your keys, right? You missed an appointment that you got the time wrong. It's little stuff like that happens. And, these things happen because Mercury's bringing in an energy that challenges us. And, all of these annoyances and challenges, right, are lessons that can help us grow and help us move forward, right, Bubba? And so instead of getting really worked up or fixating or being really negative about something that may go wrong or happen or may be disruptive, you just need to try to take a few deep breaths and then ask yourself, what could this be trying to teach me? Or what can I do to be proactive in this situation to make it, to solve the problem, right? It actually happened to me right on the cusp of like Mercury going into retrograde. I started having some computer problems. And this software that I've been using for years just was not working right. And it was really making it hard for me to be productive. I spent 4 hours one day getting nothing done because the software was like working against me and wasn't saving and wasn't working right. And so of course, it was frustrating me. And the longer it went on, the more I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm just wasting time and I'm not getting any actual work done. But I took a couple of deep breaths and I calmed myself down and I asked myself, what can I do to solve this problem? And I did some research to see like if anybody else was having this problem with this software. And then what ended up happening was I upgraded the software because in my research, I found out it was just time to upgrade it because it was several versions old now. And that's probably where a lot of my issues were coming from, right? Because my operating system was newer and my software was older. So I ponied out a little bit of cashola. I ordered the new software, installed it, and it solved all the problems, right? So imagine if I had just gotten all worked up and angry and pissed off and was like spinning my wheels. That could have gone on for a couple of days, right? But I decided to just be like, okay, this is not the worst problem, right? I especially because there's lots of wars going on in the world always. And, people suffer and war is not great, right? People lose their homes. They lose everything. They die. They lose family members. They lose leaders. They lose places to live, their belongings, all of it. I've been really trying hard lately to remind myself when little annoyances happen, okay, this is not the biggest problem in the world, right? Like my software not working is an annoyance for sure. And it's a problem for me if I can't get it fixed because that's how I make a living. But it is not the biggest problem in the world, right? Like I still have shelter. I still have a job. I still have food in my refrigerator. I have family and friends and pets who I love and who love me. So my software working is not the end of the world. And so there's no reason to act as if it's the end of the world, right? Okay, so Mercury moved into retrograde. It's going to be in retrograde all of September, okay? Okay, sorry. Now he's gone. I just want to make sure you guys can see everything. And we'll move this one over here. You can see it better. Yeah, there we go. Better. Okay. Of course, now that I've done that, he'll come back, right? Oh no, I think he's laying at my feet. He's gonna bring us messages from there, which we're grateful for, Mr. Watson. Thank you. Okay, so also Jupiter will be feeding Mercury energy during this period, which is going to be great because that's going to make Mercury retrograde a little less intense. And you have to remember, tomorrow's also a full moon. So all of this stuff is going on all at the same time. And full moons intensify what's already happening, right? So, but Jupiter is going to be in a position where it's feeding a lot of energy to Mercury. And that's good because Jupiter's energy is kind of like a guru energy, a teacher energy. So what that means is this retrograde will be full of more awareness, more consciousness, okay? People will be more aware of like, my behavior results in this consequence, right? So, sorry, I have something in my eye for a second there. Okay. So, again, Mercury retrograde, like we talked about, is usually more about having a lot of challenges and overthinking. But this particular Mercury retrograde is going to be more about spirituality and mental surrender. Okay, I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Mental surrender. Okay, what that means is if you have a lot of like spinning thoughts or overactive, overanalyzing, overthinking, you are gonna, I'm sorry, I have to, this candle right here, I think I might be allergic to. It's making my throat very itchy. So we've got plenty more. We'll just put that one out. But again, if you can mentally surrender and not let your thoughts control you and spin you out of control, then you're going to have a smoother time than if you can't, right? And I know a lot of people are like, I can't control it. This is how I am. This is who I am. And I understand that. And the reason I'm making like a mocking voice is because that used to be me, right? Like, this is just how I am. This is how I was born. But that's actually, we can control it. We have control over our entire avatar, our entire physical body, our brain, all of it. It just takes practice, and it takes learning about energy and learning about like yourself, right? And being self-aware. I know something that like changed me for the better on my growth journey was when somebody said to me, you're not the one talking in your head. You're the one listening. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's Watson. Sorry, you guys. He bumped the camera trying to get to the window because it's raining. Come on. I know. It's exciting. It's exciting to watch the rain out there. And he's just bound and determined to be all up in this video, aren't you, buddy? So when your thoughts are racing like that and you're overthinking and overanalyzing, you need to remind yourself, you're not the one talking. You're not the one overanalyzing. You're not the one overthinking, negative talking. You're the one listening to that. You can quiet that voice down. You can take that voice's power away. Okay? By sitting with it. By sitting with whatever our shadow is, whatever our fears are. If you get to know those fears, and you start investigating and asking yourself questions like, why do I have this fear? Or why do I have this pattern of thinking? Or why do I think this, right? You can start to get to know and figure that stuff out and in for your own self. And it's different for everybody because it's all based on our own personal experiences, our upbringing, our programming, right? So once you start doing that, you make friends kind of with your shadow. And once that happens, it loses all of its power, right? You don't have any more fear or stress or anxiety around it because it's just like, oh, well, that's part of who I am. Like for me, I've talked about before on this channel, I come from a very pessimistic family. I was programmed that way. I now understand after years and years of practice and study and work on myself and therapy that, like that's what I'm here to try to overcome. I'm here to try to reprogram myself to try to learn a different way than the negative, pessimistic view of life. And so that's never going to go away, right? It's deeply ingrained in me because I was raised in a very pessimistic family. And then if you look at society as a greater whole, it also can be very pessimistic at times. And so then that will support and validate and confirm, the thoughts I was already having and the things I was taught by my peers and my family, etc. So, come on, buddy. Okay. You can't jostle the camera every time, bub. Okay? Sit nicely, please. Thank you. So I've had to sit for many years and reconcile the fact that the pessimism part of myself will probably never fully go away. I, with practice, have reprogrammed a lot of those thoughts and beliefs, but every now and then, when I'm feeling weak, when I'm feeling vulnerable, when I'm feeling worn down, when I'm grieving, whatever it is, that pessimism creeps back in, right? And then I catch myself being negative or having a negative view of things. And then I realize I just slid right back into that pessimistic energy. And, I spent years beating myself up for that. And that gets you nowhere, right? It doesn't heal you. It doesn't grow you. It doesn't move you forward. It just makes you more depressed because then you're self-hating. So now when it happens, I don't judge it. I'm not mad at it. I don't, I'm just I slid right back into that energy. It happens. I'm a human. Let's take a minute, take some deep breaths. Let's try to reset, right? And get my mind right. And then I do whatever I need to do to help along in that process. Sometimes it happens quickly. Sometimes it takes a day or two. I have tools in my toolbox that help me pull out of that. Everybody has their own tools. I like dancing. Sometimes I like painting. I also like making bracelets and stuff. I love yoga and meditation, right? So those are all things that are in my toolbox. So when I'm having those days, I use things out of my toolbox to try to pull me out of it and get me back into a better attitude. Slide me right out of that energy, right? And we all have to do that. We all have our own things. Every human being has their own things. Something's wrong with all of us. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that we all come here with challenges to learn and grow and overcome. And some people's are different than others, right? Some people's challenges are poverty. Some people's challenges are being bullied. Some people's challenges are, like me, pessimism, depression. Some other people's challenges are, finding a way to live in a peaceful way instead of a chaotic way. I could sit here all day long. Everybody has some issue, something in their soul contract that they are here to learn about, work on, experience. And you can't take it all that seriously. I know sometimes it feels like your world is ending and everything's awful, and I get it. I've been there. But that when you take the power away, it reminds you, just like I was saying earlier, when something is happening like that to me, as long as I'm still living, there's not a health issue, I'm okay, I'm not bleeding, I'm not being robbed, I'm not being traumatized, right? Then I try to zoom out for a minute and realize it's not that big of a deal, right? Because we as humans tend to make things bigger deals than they are sometimes. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes there are things that are big deals, right? Obviously, if you're in an abusive relationship, that's a big deal. I'm not talking about that, though. I'm talking about what I said the other day with the computer. I, for the most part, have a very privileged life. I am very lucky. I recognize that and I'm grateful. There are lots of people in the world with way worse problems than I have, right? So when I'm having a pessimistic day over something the computer's not working, I'm never going to make any money, I'm never going to work again, right? Because that's what will happen. My brain will go there. One little problem will happen, and I'll go to the very worst case catastrophe. And then I start imagining that that's what's going to happen. And then I get all worked up. And then I start to get depressed and pessimistic. And my view of life changes, right? And so that's why I try not to take it all so seriously. When stuff like that's happening, I stop now and I practice. Okay, is this really that big of a deal? Am I bleeding? No. Are my bills paid? Yes. Do I still have a job? Yes. Am I still healthy? Yes. Do I have a roof over my head? Yes. Do I have food in the refrigerator? Yes. Right? So then that kind of makes me realize, okay, in the grand scheme of my life, this computer software issue is not that big of a deal. So I'm not going to give it that much power because I'm not going to let it hijack my whole day or my whole week. Because at the end of the day, it's like what I was saying earlier. There are worse problems to have. There are so many other worse problems in the world that my software issue is like a minuscule little dot compared to some of the other bigger issues, right? Like poverty. People can't pay their bills. People can't eat. The baby formula shortage, right, is still going on, and people legitimately have babies that they cannot feed. Those are bigger problems than my computer not working right for a day. So it's like I try to put myself in check and try to remind myself, like, okay, this is not that big of an issue, so let's adjust my reaction to it. That's what I'm talking about when I say take its power away. Because the issues, the challenges, the roadblocks, whatever it is, those only have the amount of power over you that you give them. And if you give them the power to stress you out and cause you to be in an anxiety spiral and overthink and overanalyze, like that, of course, is not going to be a good experience. But you have to remind yourself, stop and breathe and remind yourself, you have control over these things. You control yourself, all of it. So sometimes you just have to force yourself to stop and breathe. Take a step back and then be like, okay, how can I be proactive in this situation? Okay, so that's what I'm talking about when I talk about mental surrender. We don't have to let our fears, our anxieties, our stresses, we don't have to let them hijack us and our attitude and the way we are in the world. That's a choice, right? When we had all the craziness with the pandemic going on and there were people legitimately punching other people over masks, I was just sitting there watching thinking, oh my goodness, it's not that serious, people. Like, it's really not. That person over there wearing a mask does not affect me in one way or the other if I choose not to wear one, okay? Or if I choose to wear one and somebody else doesn't. Again, that is not my problem, and there's no reason for me to have this big crazy reaction to that, because that's letting something as insignificant that I can't control as a mask mandate, that's letting that hijack me and make me act a fool. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about here. We have to start being, I feel like this is a little message from Queen Elizabeth coming in here, who just passed yesterday, because she was all about duty and responsibility, right? And so what I'm hearing, I feel like that's why these messages are coming in, because she wants them out there, that we have to take responsibility for ourselves. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, for our emotions, how we behave, how we show up in the world. Are we overreacting, making big, ridiculous reactions to things? Are we the loudest person in the room? Are we the person drawing the most energy and trying to get everyone's attention? And if you are that person, you have to ask yourself, why? What is the payoff? What are you getting from that? Okay? Because we all have to start taking responsibility for how we show up in the world. And if everyone is showing up in the world as that person who's like can't control themselves and who's punching and yelling at people, then we're going to be living in a world of craziness and chaos, and it's going to be stressful for everyone. And there's no need for that, right? There's no need for that. Okay, sorry, little rant over. Let's keep it moving, okay? So, this Mercury retrograde, even though it will bring probably some challenges, Jupiter's influence of this like guru energy is going to give us the space to readjust. Okay? It's going to give us the space to start evaluating things, to start readjusting and creating new systems in the world, in our own personal lives, on an individual level, on a collective level, on a global level. Right, Bubba? I'm glad you're here. Okay, we may find our solar plexus is challenged a little bit this month because, you know, the solar plex is the I am, right? We may find that is challenged a little bit this month. So we're just going to want to do things that support that solar plexus, right? Because you need to be strong in yourself to be able to be disciplined, be self-responsible, keep yourself in check, like I was just talking about. Checking yourself and saying like, okay, why is it that I act this way? Or where did I learn this from? Or why do I get so worked up over something so simple, right? So there is going to be more awareness in the collective energy this month, which is good because that means when there's more awareness in the collective energy, that means there's more truth and clarity, okay? Truth and clarity comes in when there is space and awareness for it, and that's going to be happening in September. Now, we have to keep in mind that there will be lots of truths coming in. And this is not great for everyone because not everybody is mature enough or stable enough in their emotions or their mental state to handle the truths, right? Because sometimes we don't like the truth. Sometimes we have to face things aren't what we thought they were, okay? I'll give you an example. We all know, I would say for the most part, the entire globe knows that there are scandals with priests in the Catholic Church. Okay, that's all I'll say so that we don't get any YouTube strikes or anything. But everybody can pretty much figure out what I'm trying to say there. Okay, when that started coming out, that priests were doing these things to children, that shook the foundation of that system of Catholicism, right? That religious system that shook the foundation because the people then had to face that this place that I always thought was of good, of giving, of God source energy is not, right? Is not this stellar example of piety and I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like, you know, following the rules, right? And that was a hard truth for a lot of people to deal with, and we're still dealing with it in society. It's been 20 plus years since those revelations started, and we are still trying to reconcile and deal with it because people can't accept that, like, but this is a place you go for goodness, right? But as we talk about all the time on this channel, and as we've learned, you know, Earth is a school in duality, period. So There's always dark and light to everything, even churches, okay? Even charities. Anything that you think there is nothing, excuse me, goodness sakes. Anything you think is 100% pure good is not. Nothing ever is, right? Light cannot exist without dark. Excuse me. Getting the hiccups all of a sudden. Light cannot exist without dark. Dark cannot exist without light, etc., etc. They balance each other. They are a yin and a yang. You have to have both. So that means all of the things that we all as humans want to hold up on pedestals and believe that, but that's only good. It only does good. That's just an illusion because we don't want to have to face the truth, which is everything has a little bit of dark and a little bit of light, right? So we're going to have lots of truths coming in September. And not everybody is really great at dealing with these truths. Okay? So we just have to keep that in mind. So there may be some of our fellow humans that are on edge, that are very quick to react and blow off with an opinion or a shock, I guess some people process by spewing out all over everyone else, right? And I am one of those people. I can admit over time there have been times where I have spewed on people because I'm just trying to process something. So we just have to keep that in mind. The collective globally is going to be experiencing this. One of the other messages I got in is that okay, sorry. I have my phone on mute, but my mom is set as an emergency contact and she's texting me. I'll check it later. Okay, so we're talking about there's going to be lots of truths coming in. There's going to be lots of global changes. This is kind of something I'm super excited about, this message that came in. There will be lots of global changes starting this month around the world, around the topic of food, how we eat, and the healthcare system in general. Okay? This is the beginning of the uncovering of these topics, which will start a new movement moving forward. Of course, it's not just going to happen in a month, okay? But this month is the start of it. This is the energy is going to start coming in this month that's going to propel us and move us forward into the next decade. And so for the next decade, we're going to notice some serious changes around food, health, and medicine. Just like I was talking about how there might be some uncomfortable truths, there's probably going to be some uncomfortable truths that come through. There's probably going to be some things that come through that make us realize, oh, our medical system has been doing that? Well, that doesn't seem positive, or that doesn't seem like it's helping the problem, right? But, we're only humans. Our systems are flawed because humans are flawed. So we have to remember that these truths help propel a movement forward so that we have new ways of doing things in healthcare, in healing. And what they told me is over the next decade, there's going to start to be more evident connections between healing, spiritual awareness, and how it's all linked to our physicality and the physical body. So that I'm very excited about because I feel like our world needs that, right? We need to change how our food system works. We need to change how our medical system works. At least in the States, we do, okay? So I'm mostly just speaking for the States here, but, according to my guides, this is going to be happening globally. Okay, sorry. Hold on, let me just respond to her. Sorry. If I didn't text her, she would have just kept texting. And she's not blocked because she's my mom, right? If there's any kind of emergency and I have my notifications silenced, she's like set it as an emergency contact that can get through. So that's always good in certain instances, but in other instances like this one, it's not great because she's just texting me silly stuff. And now I could use her to be silenced. Anyway, so I was just letting her know. I will check in with you in a little bit. Okay, so earlier, a second ago, I was talking about how our solar plexus is going to be challenged this month. Actually, I believe, well, we're not going to pull it out specifically. We'll pull cards from there in a minute. And if it comes out, it comes out. I was going to say, I believe there's a solar plexus card in that deck, but we'll see if it comes out on its own. Okay, challenges to our solar plexus. That's our chakra that is in our belly area. It is yellow. It is, again, much larger than a little tiny dot like most chakra diagrams show. But, it affects our whole digestive system, for men and women both. A little bit affects a little bit of our reproductive systems. So you may feel a bit of pressure this month in the I am. Like, you may start to feel like what I was saying earlier when we ask ourselves these questions, like, why do I do that? Why do I have that pattern of behavior? Why am I so reactive? Why do I get so angry or at something little that I can't even really control? Or on the opposite side of the spectrum, why do I run away and withdraw whenever there is a challenge put in front of me, right? So when we're asking ourselves those questions, we're going to start this month feeling this pressure of like, are you going to change? Are you going to shift? Are you going to grow and work on yourselves and grow as a human? Or are you just going to stay the same? Because like I was saying earlier, people that are like, well, this is who I am. This is how I was born. That's like nonsense. That's just because those people don't know any better. And nobody's ever taught them or taken the time to explain to them that like you can shift and change your behavior. So you're going to be feeling that this month. You're going to be feeling this, like, from this Jupiter guru energy coming in. You're going to be pressed to, like, let go in your mental body. Let go. What I was talking about earlier. Mentally surrender and let go. So that we can grow. So that we can release things that aren't serving us. We can change those behaviors. We can cut out bad habits, right? Also, this is a fun one, I feel like. Starting in September, moving forward, there's going to be lots of new information coming into the collective about multidimensional beings, okay? We're going to start getting lots of truths uncovered in the collective around aliens and otherworldly things. And that will be happening globally. There will be lots of disclosure, lots of things maybe being declassified that we're going to start finding out in the regular public. Like, oh, I knew, for example, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but probably, since I'm saying it, right, since my guides are channeling it in. But remember how in like the 30s, I think it was the 30s or 40s, and all that Roswell stuff happened, and then the government, like at first everybody was like, it's a UFO, flat out. And then, of course the government came in and started controlling all the communication, and then it was like, oh no, it was just a weather balloon, right? And so even to this day, now, like 70 years later, they're still saying like, oh no, it was just a weather balloon that people misunderstood and thought it was a UFO. Well, a truth that could be uncovered is that they're going to release and let us know that, like, yeah, it was not a weather balloon. It was a UFO. I mean, we all kind of already know that anyway, but no government agency has officially said, oh yeah, we've been lying this whole time to cover it up, right? But that stuff's going to start happening. Maybe not that specific example, but other examples like that are going to start happening globally. Okay, so we talked about our solar plexus chakra is going to be challenged this month. The chakra that will be supporting us this month is the sacral chakra. It is right underneath the solar plexus. So your root chakra is like right at your tailbone, okay? And then right above that is the sacral chakra, which is all your sexual organs. It's where your emotions, your creativity, your sexual desire, all of that comes from your sacral chakra. And then right above that is the solar plexus, okay? So the solar plexus is going to be challenged this month. This who am I? Is this who I want to be? Is this how I want to show up in the world? And then the supporting chakra is going to be right underneath it. It's going to help us keep our emotions calm this month. Because this month is a mental and spiritual month, okay? We're going to need to keep our emotions in check so that we can deal with the mental and the spiritual things coming in, the challenges, the lessons, okay? We don't want to be overly emotional this month. We don't want to let our emotions drag us into something, drag us into, an illusion, or drag us into a depression. This is the month that you can say, I see you, okay? I understand what you're feeling. I see that you're here. But let's just stay calm and observe and see how the month unfolds, right? Let's not be overindulging in our emotions this month, because that's going to make it harder for us, right? And there's no reason to make things harder on ourselves, right? Now, your emotions may flare up, because let's be honest, when we're dealing with this solar plexus chakra, the I am, how do I show up in the world? Who am I? Who am I really? When I'm sitting at home, just me, right? Not who do I show to the world? What mask do I wear? This is like, who am I really? How do I show up in the world? How do I behave? Am I happy with this? Is this who I want to be? Right? That's going to flare your emotions up. When you're asking yourself those hard questions, it's going to flare your emotions up. But again, I just want to remind you, acknowledge them, and then just try to stay calm and chill, okay? Challenge yourself for September to not indulge into our emotions too much, to kind of stay a little bit pulled back, stay calm, stay in observer mode, okay? Challenge yourself for September to stay calm, to just watch and observe. All right? Let's see. Also, another chakra that's going to be supporting us this month is going to be the third eye chakra, okay? And that's because all of these truths are going to start being unveiled globally. The illusion is going to fall away even more than it already has. All right? So that's why we're going to be also feeling this like fluffy energy that's coming in that kind of draws us out of our emotional body and more into like, oh, what's happening in the world, right? What are the truths? What's happening spiritually that I've been ignoring? But again, this is also going to be a very good month to pay attention to your thoughts, set goals, and achieve them, okay? The energy in Virgo season that we just moved into is very much about productivity, okay? That Virgo earth energy is about getting things done, making plans, executing those plans. So this is a very good month to set goals and achieve the goals, okay? Also because of Mercury Retrograde, there's a lot of us kind of going back to the past to be like, not to like wallow in past experiences, more so going back to the past and being like, why didn't I ever do that, right? I had this idea or this plan to do this thing, and I never did that. And now I'm being reminded of it, and now the energy is really ripe and good for that productivity moving forward. So you may find you're picking up old ideas or old plans you had, and you're actually doing them now. Right? Now you're taking action. You're like dusting them off. You're like, well, I don't understand why I never did this to begin with, right? Now, you're gonna, again, like I was talking about, this is kind of the month that we're gonna want to keep our emotions in check. But a lot of us are super emotional people or super sensitive people. So if you find your emotions like trying to force their way up and you keep trying to say like, I see you, but I'm not going to deal with you right now because we're just trying to observe and see how things unfold. If it keeps coming, that's when you need to really sit with it and start asking yourself the questions. Why am I thinking this? Why am I creating the space to hold on to this negative thought or this, aggressive thought or sad thought or whatever it is, right? It's all right. Sorry, bub. Sorry, I tickle ya? Mommy uses her hands because I'm Italian. You know that. Okay. So, also, because we're doing all of this observing, we'll be taking in a lot of information, right? Which will make us want to react sometimes. Some of us that are still practicing, it's hard. Sometimes you get pulled into it, and then afterwards you realize, oh shit, I totally got pulled into that energy. I reacted. I was trying not to do that. You know what? It happens to the best of us. A good way to try to keep that from happening, to try to keep you out of that reactionary body this month is going to be exercise. Okay? Move your body. Get your body tired. If you can tire your body out, then it will be ready to observe rather than respond or react. Okay? So if you find that you're having trouble just being in observer mode and staying calm, then you might want to ramp up your exercise this month because that'll help wear your body out, and then that'll help you react less. If you find yourself overthinking, like I was talking about earlier, overthinking or spinning out of control, do something to counteract it. Focus on something else, right? If you're having like the same repeating thought over and over and over again, well, focus on something else. Maybe watch a movie, read a book, even just get a crystal and be like, I'm going to focus on this crystal. This is an amethyst. I'm going to learn everything I can about amethyst. And then get on the internet or go to the library And yeah, I've got a couple of really cool books on gems that are just really cool, and you can learn some really cool things. The earth is amazing that it can even create. I mean, just look at all of these different like layers of sediment and rock, right? The fact that the earth just does that. Anyway, sorry. Super cool. Just that can be something to help you, focus on something else. Observing something intently can help calm or soothe you down. So again, if you're feeling all worked up or you got pulled into something like I was just saying, and then afterwards you're like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to get pulled into that. Now I feel all worked up. I have all this extra energy, sometimes I will just go sit outside in my yard, and I have a bird feeder, and I will just watch the birds and squirrels come to the feeder for like 20 or 30 minutes. And I always feel better afterwards. And then after, I'm always like, man, what was I overthinking, or what was I upset about, or what, right? So observing something will calm you and pull you out of maybe that chaotic energy, and it'll help calm you down and soothe you, right? Now, around the 19th, there's going to be some frustration in the collective. There's going to be lots of truths coming out in the collective, and this may be a stressful time. This may be a time that you're going to want to use the tools in your toolbox, right? You're going to find that today, between now and the 19th, it's going to feel very clear. The energy is going to feel, you're going to feel lots of clarity and understanding. Things are going to start like, I don't know, I call it the pinball machine, where it's like, you have one thought, and then it's like, oh, that happened because of this, and then that because of this, ding, 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 right? And then all these thoughts connect in your head, ding, 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 ding. And then it's like how with pinball, then when you get it in the hole and all the lights go off, that's what'll happen, right? It's like there was going to be lots of clarity, lots of understanding, lots of truths, and that's how it'll be. Like a piece of information will come in, and it'll suddenly, like your brain will like pinball to where all these things will suddenly make sense, because that one last piece of information was like the puzzle piece that holds it all together. Okay? So we just want to keep in mind any truths that are coming out. We want to try to observe, right? We want to try to stay calm and observe. We want to try not to have an opinion. We want to try not to judge it, not to critique it, not to make assumptions about it, not to make expectations on it, okay? We're going to want to just sit with it and observe and let it unfold, right? Let's see. I think those are all of my notes, other than, yeah. Okay, so now the good stuff. And the crystal grids and the essential oil mixture I want to give credit where credit is due. I got it from Jamie Butler, the Everyday Medium. She is amazing. I love her. And every month she always comes up with like an essential oil blend that is helpful, and some crystals that are helpful. And I always love it because she's right, they're helpful. Right? Okay, so for this month, essential oils. There are 4. Let me see if I can. Okay. Make sure everybody can see it, okay. All right. Sandalwood, juniper, frankincense, black spruce. Now, her suggestion was make a little, I have a bunch of these little glass bottles. You can get them on the internet. They're fairly inexpensive. You keep some distilled water, And then you mix some essential oils with it. And then this is like a nice little spray for when you're having those moments. If you start to feel your emotions coming up and you start to feel that, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to just sit here and observe. That's a great time. You spray this around your head, your aura, let it fall onto you, and it will help you this month, okay? The mixture is, I would spray it right now, except Watson's right here, and cats don't really like essential oils. So, and FYI, if you have a cat and a diffuser, you cannot diffuse essential oils because it can be very harmful to your cat, breathing them in, their nervous system. So I don't diffuse. I use little spray bottles like this, and I put it in the bath and stuff like that so that it does not harm my cats. But in a little spray bottle, 4 drops of sandalwood. Okay? 4 drops of sandalwood. Hopefully the camera is focusing. Okay, or it's not. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, 4 drops of sandalwood. 3 drops of juniper. Juniper. 2 drops of frankincense. And 1 drop of black spruce or silver spruce. Okay, you put all that together in here, then you top it off with distilled water. It's a great little, we'll spray it. There we go, the opposite way. I know, look, he already just turned his head like, what is that smell? I made 2 of these this month. At the beginning of the month, 1 is in my office, 1 is in my purse. This one will go in my purse. I just left it out here for this video. And that way I will have it with me so that when I am working or when I am out and about, if I feel like I'm not in a great environment of energy or the people around me don't feel like they have great energy, this is a lifesaver, okay? Lifesaver. It will also keep you from picking up other people's issues as attachments, okay? Also, a crystal that will be good for this month. And I just want to, I have here in my phone its properties, so I want to find them and, okay, yes. Okay, so a great stone for September to carry with you or have around you, not in your bedroom, okay? We're going to talk about gridding stones for your bed to help with sleep. That is not this. This is more every day. Keep it with you in your pocket. Some women I know like to put crystals in their bra. Keep it in your office, whatever. This is called mookaite. Okay, it's actually beautiful. You can see it's got varieties of reds, browns, tans. This is polished mookaite. You can get it raw or polished. So this is all mookaite. I kind of love it. It's very beautiful. We'll hold them here, and then in my phone here I have, let me read. Yes, okay, the properties of mookaite. They support and sustain you during times of stress. Okay, mookaite brings you peace and feelings of wholeness. It can help us with decision making, especially if we are having a difficult time. It also encourages versatility and helps us accept change. Okay, not a more perfect stone for this month, right? We just talked about how there's going to be lots of transformation starting in this month. Lots of changes to our systems, which will cause stress when old systems fail or fall and new systems have to take their place. That can be stressful for everybody, okay? So we just read this stone helps us accept change, helps us with stress, helps us feel peace, okay? And again, it's just so beautiful. I mean, look at this piece. It's like from one side, you'd think the whole thing is just this deep reddish purple color, but then you flip it over and it's like, wow, right? All of it, just beautiful. Oh, somebody's mowing. Watson doesn't like it. Okay, so mookaite. Now, again, also Jamie Butler, the Everyday Medium. Check her out. She also, you can find her on YouTube. Her suggestion for bed gridding this month, and that's basically just, like I do it under my mattress, on 4 corners of my bed, under the mattress. I grid crystals, different crystals. This month, the crystals that will really help you in your bed and your sleep situation, it'll keep you protected, it'll keep you sleeping well, are moonstone. Beautiful, right? We even have this beautiful card, moonstone. Okay. Then lapis lazuli. Okay, moonstone, the card says ebb and flow. Lapis lazuli, step up to sovereignty. Okay, lapis lazuli right here. This is also a great stone for the throat chakra. Okay, then sacred center, selenite. Okay, this is selenite. This is also selenite. Whoops. Selenite tower, selenite sticks. Selenite is very difficult to polish. You can find it polished. I have a polished piece in my bedroom. I'm not going to go get it, but most selenite is raw and flaky like this because it's raw and flaky and it's in layers, so that's why it's not super easy to polish. So mostly you find selenite raw like this, which is just as beautiful, right? Selenite, sacred center, right? So it makes sense so far for bed gridding. We got go with the flow, basically, ebb and flow, sacred center, step up into our sovereignty, which is that I am, and then black tourmaline. Here is a piece of black tourmaline. It is also, it's very much like selenite. I don't know if you can see there, but it's kind of layered. You can see the layers in there, just like kind of selenite is, except it's black. So transmutation, this is really good for protection, dealing with change, transmuting energies that aren't making you feel great, right? So those are the 4 crystals that will be great for gridding your bed. I already gridded my bed this month with it, and I've been sleeping very well. Mookaite, again, in case you want to look this up, it's Mookaite. Okay, this is just a really good stone to have. It helps you with stress, helps you deal with change, helps bring peace, peaceful energy. Who doesn't want that, right? So now we're going to pull 1 card from the Self-Mastery Metatron deck and 1 card from the Healing deck. And then we will wrap it up. Oh, yeah, because we've been talking for a while. But this is a month-long thing, so that's partially why. Right? Okay, 1 card, please. Oh, look, Watson's gone now, so let me spray. Woo, smells good. Very earthy. what messages do you have for us? One message, please. One message. It's interesting. I thought it was going to come out on the first try. Is that the card? Let's see if it comes out. One card, please. Funny. It's like there are cards that almost are like, there it is. It's like I almost want to come out, but nope. Let's see. Ooh, leadership. Answer the call. Okay, which would make sense because if there's a lot of change going on, a lot of truths being uncovered, a lot of systems starting to break down, lean into leadership. This is what we need. We need people who are able to stay calm and observe and let things unfold. We need those people to step up and be leaders. Look around. Part of the reason the globe is in chaos is because we have all of these leaders that are very reactive, right? So, leadership. And then we're going to pick one card from the Healing, Whispers of Healing, because I love this deck, and it always helps us, kind of gives us a direction of what we should focus on for trying to heal this month. A lot of us, not everybody is into trying to heal all the time, but I am. My circle is, we like to interesting. I like to heal my issues because it makes life so much calmer and easier to navigate and less stressful when we face our issues and heal. Now, facing the issues can be hard at times, but these cards, that's why I love them, because they give us kind of a direction. What should I be focusing on? And here it is, came right out. What should I focus on this month? Give back. Okay? Which goes with the leadership, right? Good leaders are always giving back and giving their energy to the greater good to make things more successful. I just got a buzzing in my ear that was basically like, end it there. So that's what we're going to do, okay? Everybody, I got a sneeze coming on. Excuse me, because spiritual energy is strong in here right now. It always makes my nose itch, makes me sneeze. Woo! Okay, so we are going to leave it there because I feel like there's been a lot of good guidance in this video. Thank Jamie Butler for the crystal suggestions and the essential oils mixture. I'm already finding benefit from it. I recommend you give it a try. There is nothing more refreshing than stepping away from a group of people or work or an atmosphere or an environment that doesn't feel like super clear energy. There's nothing better than stepping away and clearing your own energy. So I love this kind of stuff and carry it with me all the time because it does make a huge difference. So hopefully that helps you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, week, day, whatever it is for you. Wishing you all the blessings. And let's also send out a little bit of extra love and attention out into the collective, because we are all in the world going to have to adjust to a change with Queen Elizabeth leaving the planet and taking her energy with her. Really quickly, there was a double rainbow right after she passed over Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, which are two of her homes that she was at a lot. And I took that to mean nature was giving her a standing ovation on the way out. That's what I feel, because I feel like, whatever you think of the Queen, to do what she did for 70 years and to give her life to service, right? Give back, to lead and give back for 70 years of her life. That's a big deal, and that deserves applause. So now we will go, after we take a moment to give proper gratitude, appreciation, and applause to Queen Elizabeth, because she gave her entire life for everyone else to thrive. And that, no matter what you think of her, is noble. Okay, bye-bye.